Jon Anderson. I'm 58 years old and live in Grand Haven Township. Community involvement, mostly been just involving with Rotary International. I've been involved with that for several years in different places I've lived. Even with our gun store that I've owned, I'm still co-owner of Bullet Hole Firearms, and we do a lot with them with donations through community events. So we try to do a lot with that. As far as qualifications, I've got 32 years in law enforcement total. 30 of that was in California. I always have to admit it was from Southern California, but there's some good aspects to that. But I did do 30 years out there, and I rose up to a sheriff's commander. I also did some chief of police work out there too. The other couple of years I was out here in Livingston County, Michigan. I did their cold case homicides for the sheriff's department out there. I, for a little while, helped run the Spectrum Health police and security out there too, out in Grand Rapids for a little bit too. The biggest reasons, because when I put roots here about 5 years ago in Ottawa County, and especially here in Grand Haven Township, or the Grand Haven area, we fell in love with it. My wife and I love it here, and I have committed to do anything I can to keep this a really nice community the way it is, and then maybe even enhance it. When I found out Sheriff Kempker was retiring, there really wasn't a clear decision who was going to be running, and I just decided with all the experience I have, and a lot of people from the department were coming into my gun store and encouraging me to run. And when I really thought about it, I thought I do have a lot to offer, and with all that experience out west, for all the complaining I do about leaving, because I did leave California for a reason, but there were some really good aspects to it, and I learned a lot. I thought I could bring some new good ideas and some of my leadership abilities here. Some of the bigger issues right now, especially in law enforcement and even the workplace, but is recruiting and retention. It's become nationwide a problem, and with Ottawa County Sheriff, there's no longer a pension, so you don't have that. Some people will call it the handcuffing of keeping you there for a long time. So what you really need to, I think we need to focus on, is building the trust and relationships with our employees, and then also expanding that to the community, so that it's more community involvement. Because really a police or sheriff's department should not just be about the officers there, it should be about the entire community. And what I've noticed, and I think this goes for most industries, is people don't leave necessarily because they don't feel like they got paid enough or because of the benefits. It usually comes down to leadership or not feeling that they're heard or trusted, and that's what I really want to make sure. We drive home, because it's so hard to find people now. You want to keep people. When you get good people, you want to retain them, and that's I think one of the biggest challenges right now, just to law enforcement in general. And to the community, Ottawa County, they're saying it's the fastest growing in the state. And I came from a county that doubled in size in about less than 15 years. And with growth comes, you get some good things. You get some diversity that you need. And when more diversity comes, you don't have to worry about it, because it usually works itself out, because usually your agencies and your public agencies reflect the community. But the challenges are that you get a population and you get revenue, and they kind of start to go up at one point because of you get property taxes. Well, then there's like that delta on the graph, and population keeps going up and revenue doesn't. You got to learn to work within that. And no matter what, especially from a law enforcement perspective, it doesn't matter who it is that's coming. It's going to bring more calls for service, and it does usually result in more crime. And again, working with that and knowing that down the road you may not have the same resources, you just have to have a good plan.